my presentation is on the word pressure and its implications on life. So when you kind of hear the word pressure, numerous things can come to mind. You might, if you're a sciencey guy, you think pressure was force over area. You might think the ideal gas law, or maybe if you're touchy-feely, you think about the psychological answer to it and how it induces stress onto you, like how I'm feeling right now. Or maybe if you're musical, that song "Under Pressure" by Freddie Mercury might come to mind. Nonetheless, I'm kind of going to culminate all these ideas into one life motto that you can follow. So you've probably heard the saying, "Pressure either makes or breaks you." I'm here to tell you that that saying is completely false. In that it's not the whole story, because pressure indeed actually breaks you first, and then it makes you. So in the sense that as a person, you're kind of molded by pressure into a better you. So this is kind of analogous to a lump of coal, the simplest form of carbon, and it's like, the most natural form is this brittle, unpleasant material that you don't want to emulate necessarily, but under extreme pressure beneath Earth's mantle actually turns into this brilliant, immaculate diamond that's actually, it turns out to be one of the strongest materials known to man. And so that's kind of analogous, or that's kind of the same in the sense you're a person, and that as a person you put through this pressure to become anew, to become a different person. So I want to tell you a little story about myself in this, and that I kind of went through pressure to become a new person. I can share this story with you to inspire you so that you can do the same. So around the 5th grade, I lost my father to incarceration. He wasn't there for the majority of my teenage years, and for puberty and all that. So the most prime time of growth, and like it was very obvious in me. That was a pressure that kind of obliterated me to this brittle dust that was coal, and kind of put me into that process of being a better person. So I became more distant, obviously, with myself and others. I was less sociable, less confident. I had less friends. That year in 5th grade, I actually got 20 referrals and almost got suspended from school. But at that point, I decided I'm not going to let that define me. I'm not going to let that define who I am. It's not just going to break me; it's going to also make me. So that's when I went under deliberation, and I thought to myself, like, am I just going to let this event completely change my life and forever break me? No, I'm not going to. So, like the shredding of a snake, I kind of shredded my old self to become a new. And I wanted to become a new person and overcome this adversity. So what I did is, with all the will that I had in me, I started to better my life. And I joined football that same year. I voluntarily joined tackle football. I lost 20 pounds, and I was fit for the rest of my life. I started getting friends from that. And so, and with that will, I started paying attention to my studies more. I started to take my education more seriously and started getting straight A's. And eventually, I developed this reputation as a smart, mute kid. My freshman teacher thought it was me. It was crazy. So I went through all those changes. And at this point, pressure was really making me. But it wasn't until high school until I actually became socially different. And I started making more friends. I started to hang out more. People were inviting me to do things and such. And developed these close relationships with my teachers. In that sense, I started becoming anew. But it really didn't strike me, this revelation, that I was anew until I was a senior, which was kind of too late. That was this last year, when I realized, like, wow, I'm leading these clubs and speaking publicly and all these things. Like that event that happened, you couldn't tell that from me if you looked at me. That was a completely different person. So in that sense, I kind of emerged from the rubble as this, in no way flawless diamond, but definitely more refined than I was before. So what I want you to take from this is that I hit the bottom of the pit. I did. And with that, I had the will to overcome. And so when you hit the bottom of the pit, just know that the only place you can go is up from that. And when you get out of that pit, you have the wisdom, you feel triumphant, and you have the hindsight to overcome adversity in your life. And so what I want you to take from that is that pressure does not break you or make you. It's true that pressure indeed breaks you first and then makes you the person.